Okay guys, I just wanted to show you there's a learning curve with this, and I've decided to, I checked the measurements and the math, and I just decided to eyeball it. So this one, I'm going to have several in here. I'm going to have several, so I'll probably have 4 or 5. So I want to make sure that I leave enough room for the binding too. So I'm going to, if it was just one, I would open it up, and I would just look at it and say, okay, I want it to be about that far from each edge, but I know that that took up about 1 inch, so I'm gonna bring it out to about right here, and I'm gonna mark on the vinyl-y side so I can rub off easier. And then if I've found that if you have too much room at the top and the bottom, then the elastic will curve it, so you want to be kind of close to the top, but you need to leave room for the holes. So I think I want it to be, I'm going to try it right here. So these are my 2 marks right here. I found that it was just easier to use my scissors, so I'm just going to use scissors to cut, but I'm going to draw a line on the vinyl side so I can wipe it off. And then I need to do it from here, assuming that's straight. Okay. But here's this. And what I found was easiest, taking the vinyl-y side, I just folded it in half. I just folded it in half, and then I just stuck a pencil in here and kind of did a little bit of a line. And then I folded it in half again, this way, and did another line. And then that's where the 2 meet is where I'm going to do my hole for the elastic. And I just double check, see if it looks right, and it looks good enough for me. Then what I did was I took a look at it and I said, okay, here's the line, here's down the middle. And I just eyeballed it. So I'm like, okay, I want it to be a bit over from, I want it to be up from the top, but a little bit and a little bit over. So I'm just going to find something to push on so I don't ruin my table. So once again, just take this line, get it squared up, over, and then just over about 1/4 of an inch. And then while I've got that here, I'll just do the same thing. Then, actually, you know what? I need to change this. This tip will be way too small. Just realized that. These are easy to change. You just slip it in there, and I'm just going to redo it. Get it a little bit bigger. Alright, then I'm just going to flip it over. Look at the line again. terrible job of that. Putting another hole here. There. I'll put some kind of dangly thing off of there for a charm. Then, what I've learned is I like to do 5. I'm going to do a gold one. I do 5 from top. I give myself a little end, about 1 inch, half an inch. And I do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I cut that. And then while I'm cutting this, the other thing I do is I just kind of measure around the book once and then a little bit to tie it off. But I don't want it to bend too much, so I make it about that much more than around the book. All right, now we just take this piece we had done and do that. I'll do this one while I'm at it. Too bad you can't smell that. It's a little bit smelly. Guess it's good you can't. Okay. Now, what I do is you start from the outside and I think I do this the same every time, but I just thread it and then I come over, so I come up this other hole so that on the front it just looks like that. And then I do the same thing on this one. So I have my first loop, and then I'm going to put this through this hole again, which gives me my second loop. Then I have 2 loops, and I kind of straighten up my elastic to give myself like about halfway, and then I then I bring this one back through. Okay. I think I unpulled this one, so this one's got to go through. All right, so when you're done, you have it through twice on each side. You end up with 2 loops, your third loop, and then your last loop is where you tie these 2 together. But I like to sort of kind of stretch it and make sure they all have enough room so it's not buckling it before I tie it. And I found that 5 is actually too much, but I wanted to give myself some room to see, just to make sure and not buckle these. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it about here in the middle, and then I'll just cut it off. I want them to be tight, but not not too tight. And I want to have enough so I can tie a knot without worrying about it buckling. All right, here we go. That's a little bit, maybe tiny bit loose, but if you're going to do double books, it's okay. So, a little loose. But let's try it. Well, actually, before we do, I need to finish this off. So we just take this piece and tie it in a knot. And before I cinch it down too tight, I make sure if I need to like slide the knot down to give myself a little more room or not. So I will just, and you can use floss to wrap around it and get through, but I was able to do it. So let's put some books in and see how that is. The other thing I started doing was just rounding the tips, and I'm just doing it, well, I might try to do it nicer for you guys so you don't gasp when I do it. I'll just cut a little, I'm gonna use this little bottle to give me a little idea of a curve. Okay. Okay. Now, it's a little bit loose right now, but if I put a few more of these notebooks in here, and one thing you can do if you only have 4 rubber bands is you can just open up in the middle of one and the middle of a notebook and just slide it in, so you've got half a notebook on one side and then half on the other. So I'm going to do that just to see how many will fit. Let's see what it looks like. Way more than I probably would want to carry around, but it's just sort of fun to see what they look like, and it'd be a fun way to store them when I'm done with them. As you can see, when you start to pull more on the rubber band, it sort of starts to buckle in a little bit, but that doesn't bother me. That does not bother me. This made So far, I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have most of this. Look at all of this I have left. It's probably, I didn't even use a half a yard because this is a big piece of vinyl. So don't buy a whole yard, whatever you do, because that is a lot, and I've already got 4. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.